Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Reapy Ron, and today we're going to be doing another Deep Rock Galactic build guide. This is going to go for the Subata 120 pistol that Driller has. So this is a pretty standard pistol, what you would kind of expect in most FPS games. It's got a decent magazine, it shoots fairly quickly, and we're going to be going through each of its modifications. We're going to be going over 2 builds with this. So let's just start out going through all of their modifiers. I am currently using the site karl.gg/build. I will be linking that in the description below if you guys want to go over there. Check it out. It's a really cool website. It lets you see all of your stats for your weapons and exactly what your modifiers do, so you can get a better understanding. You can also do some theory crafting here. Also, before we get started in this video, we will not be going over overclocks in this video because overclocks can change the weapon a lot. Our first modification is improved alignment. This gives you 0% base spread, so this makes it so the very first shot that you shoot is going to hit exactly where you aim it. So there's not going to be any sort of variable. It's not going to potentially hit the enemy in the head or hit the enemy in the leg or whatever it might be. It will always hit them exactly where you shoot, or if you miss, it'll hit exactly where you shot. After that, there can be a little bit of spread, but I believe this takes a little bit of time to come down and then it goes right back to being that first shot. It does make the pistol quite a bit more accurate, which is pretty nice, and it's not a bad modification for it. The second tier one is high capacity magazines. This just gives you 5 more rounds, so instead of holding 12 rounds, you hold 17. That's pretty nice too. And then the last tier 1 is the quick fire ejector. This just makes it so that you reload faster. So instead of reloading in 1.9 seconds, you reload in 1.3 seconds. So that's also pretty nice. None of these are really bad. They're all pretty good. I've used all of them, and I haven't really been disappointed. Generally, I go with the high capacity magazines for my general purpose build, which is going to be the first build that we're going to go through, just because I tend to spam fire the pistol a lot, and having extra ammo in it kind of helps with that. The pistol is still pretty accurate at really any range, and it may not be able to kill enemies at least super effectively with just 12 shots in it. So I find the 17 to be a little bit easier, especially if there's multiple enemies. I might be able to kill 2 or 3 with it before I need to reload, so that's kind of nice. For our tier 2, we have expanded ammo bags. This just gives you 40 more ammo, so instead of 160, you go up to 200. Extra ammo is always great. It will let you get more ammo from resupplies. You won't have to use resupplies as often. And it can be really good in those missions where you're just not finding a whole lot of nitra, or your team's preoccupied doing something else and not mining nitra. We also have increased caliber rounds. This makes it so you get 1 more damage, going from 12 damage to 13. That's not bad either. That'll increase your damage and damage per second. So that one's always nice, but I pretty much always go with expanded ammo bags. I like having that extra ammo. I like getting the bigger resupplies when they come in and not having to worry about ammo as much. As I also stated, I tend to spam fire my gun, so there will be some misses. So in tier 3, we have improved propellant. This gives you 1 more damage with your with each shot, which is nice. We have recoil compensation. This makes it so you have 20% reduction on spread per shot and 50% reduction on recoil. This just makes it so your gun doesn't bounce around as much and your bullets aren't as varied. They'll stay closer to where you're actually aiming, which is pretty nice. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. And our last one is another expanded ammo bag. So this gives us another 40 rounds worth of ammunition, taking our total now from 200 to 240. For this one, I usually switch between recoil compensator and expanded ammo bags. Both are really good. If you want more ammo, if you like spam firing your weapon more often, if you like getting more ammo from resupplies, then the expanded ammo bags is pretty good. If you just like being able to hit your target and hit them more reliably as you're firing these, then the recoil compensator is better. But for this, I'm going to go with more ammo. In tier 4, we have hollow point rounds. This makes it so you get an additional 60% more damage when hitting a target's weak spot. So this is actually quite a bit because you already had 20%, so you go up to 80% bonus damage. That's pretty nice. Or you could go with high velocity rounds, which increases your base damage from 12 to 15, which is also pretty nice. 15 damage is actually a pretty good break point for a lot of enemies. So having this is not a bad option. I generally go with the hollow point rounds just because I like doing the higher weak point damage. And I find it a bit more useful on medium-sized enemies. Sure, my pistol's not going to do as well against small enemies. I'm going to have to use more ammo than I would if I had like the high velocity rounds. simply because I'm not hitting the breakpoints. But the hollow point rounds will help me get quite a bit more damage against large and potentially those medium enemies too, just because I won't need to shoot them as much if I'm hitting them in their weak spot. And then at tier 5, we have the Volatile Bullets. This makes it so you get plus 50 damage dealt to burning enemies. This one's good if you combine it with the Flamethrower, which is kind of what it's intended for. You light something on fire with the Flamethrower, you pull out your pistol, you do more damage to it. Pretty straightforward. Or if somebody else lights it on fire, say you have a scout running the incendiary shotgun shells, that could do it. Or you have a gunner running the incendiary grenade, that could also do it. So there's a couple ways you can get this to trigger. So your other option is the Mactera toxin coating. So this makes it so you do 20% more damage to the Macteran. So anything that's flying, pretty much. Any flying enemy you will do 20% more damage for. This would be the obvious option if you were going to go with the cryo gun, assuming that you're just playing randoms, where you have no idea what teammates you're going to get. Who knows who might join your lobby. You might not get anybody running any sort of fire ability. So definitely take this one if you plan on taking the cryo cannon as your primary, because you're just not going to be able to trigger the volatile bullets reliably, assuming you don't have somebody else on your team who is bringing fire, like another driller with a flamethrower. If you're bringing the flamethrower, then generally volatile bullets is better because you can light things on fire and then deal damage to them. So this one's completely based on whichever weapon you're using or what your team is using. So it can switch either way. Both are pretty good. Both let you do quite a bit. And even if you are bringing the flamethrower, you can still go with the toxin because the flamethrower is not that great against hitting flying enemies. You are going to probably need to use your pistol for that, assuming you're running flamethrower and pistol. So this is my first build for the driller pistol. It's pretty straightforward. Lots of ammo, bigger clips, more damage to weak points, and then potentially, depending on which weapon I'm going with, either more damage with the fire or more damage against flying enemies. Pretty straightforward. The second build that we're going to go for is just much more of a damaging build. So for this, I generally go with improved alignment because I want that first shot to definitely hit and count. This is more like switching your pistol to a magnum rather than a spam firing pistol, where you want to make each shot count. So we're going to go with increased damage with the increased caliber rounds, so we get up to 13 damage. Then at tier 3, you can either go with, again, more damage to give you that 1 more damage per shot, or you could go with expanded ammo bags. That way you get a bit more ammo. Both are pretty good options. I would probably recommend going with the ammo bags on at least one of these, just so that your gun is a little bit more consistent. Unless you really want just the most amount of damage per shot that you could get, then potentially the improved propellant. Then once again, high velocity rounds. And then once again, it depends on your gear and what your team is running. So if you don't have any fire, then go with the toxin rounds. If you do have a lot of fire, go with the volatile rounds. Pretty straightforward for this build. You could, I guess, also go with just more accuracy and more crit damage with this and still have a damaging build. Just trying to hit weak points as much as possible then. Either of these would work. So the pistol is a pretty good sidearm for driller. I use it quite a bit. I enjoy it a lot. I think I've maybe used it more than the plasma charger. I can't say that for sure. Both are pretty good. Both have their own strengths. But you can build them in some pretty interesting ways. But that'll do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys found this helpful or informative or something. If you did, then be sure that you're subscribed. That way you get notifications whenever I post any of these videos. Thank you guys so very much for coming here and watching this. I really do appreciate it, and I will talk to all of you guys next time. Till then, stay cool, and bye!